Python peeps, well, welcome back to Pi Everyday channel. Okay, so I promised to get you into details on how to write simple Python codes by introducing you to the Python syntax, and then also how to comment or make comments in your Python codes. Okay, so I couldn't do that in the previous video, so I decided to bring it in this video so that we will not spend much time on giving you some few information. Okay, so this tutorial will be a very short and quick one. I'm going to take you through the Python syntax. So here we'll be going into the indentation and then also commenting. But in the first place, I will take you through the indentation. Today our video is going to be a short one, a short and quick one. Okay, so when we talk of an indentation, we say the indentation is the space at the beginning of a line of code. But before that, you could see that one of the first challenges that programmers encounter when learning Python is the fact that there are no braces to indicate blocks of code. So one of the challenges for Python beginners or programmers when they move from one programming language to the other, for example, when they are moving from, let's say, C++ or Java into Python programming, they find it very difficult because Python don't use braces to specify a block of code. So for in Python, no braces is used to indicate blocks of code for class, function definitions, or flow control. Block of code are denoted by line indentation, which is rigidly enforced. Okay, so in Python we use indentation to specify a block of code. Yes, that's what we do by specifying a block of code. Okay, so the meaning of indentation. So we say indentation refers to the spaces at the beginning of a code of line. Okay, so where in other programming languages the indentation in code is for readability only. So when you go to other languages, when they want to give indentation, the reason for giving indentation is for readability, not for syntax or for anything. But in Python, the indentation is also part of the syntax. The indentation is also part of the syntax. So we give indentation to be able to get our codes to run. When we talk of bugs, we can have an indentation error, which is also part of the bugs. Okay, and then Python also uses indentation to indicate a block of code. So for instance, I have some line of codes here. So when you're reading from the bottom of this course, you could see the def manage files. So you could see the file name is equal to myfiles.txt. Okay, let me change this. This is a camel notation. Okay, so manage files. Okay, so here this is a line of code or a block of code. This is also another block of code, right? Okay, so the spaces between this code, that is the spaces at the beginning of this code, tells us that this is a block of code or this is an indentation, right? So through this an indentation, we could say that this line of code belongs to this function, right? Same as this. This is also an indentation telling us that this line of code belongs to this. It belongs to the else, and this is also another line of, or this is also an indentation which also tells us that it belongs to the if statement, right? Okay, so here we say we use an indentation to specify a block of what? Code. That is the purpose of giving an indentation. And then with the indentation, it helps us to make the code readable. But the most important of this indentation in Python is that it is part of the syntax, right? Okay, so let's try and test this program and see whether it will run. Okay, so the program runs. The program runs because we have a proper indentation. Okay, so let's try this and see whether it will run or not. I'm pushing this back to the very beginning of the line. Okay, and let me run. So you could see that I had a syntax error telling me that an indentation error. So you could see the message it gave me: expected an indented block after function definition on line 11. Okay, so after function definition on line 11, so I defined a function here, right? Okay, so the next line of code should have been here. So any code that I was supposed to write should have been here. So mean the file name should have been here rather than being at the beginning of the very line of code, right? Okay, so this tells us that when we want to write a block of code, it means after the definition of that block, the following one should begin with a space between them. So that's that for the indentation. Then we're moving on to the commenting. So we say that Python comments can be used to explain code. Comment can be used to make code more readable. Comments can be used to prevent execution when testing code. So in Python, we comment or we give comments by starting with a hash sign. So if you could see from this code, you could see that I've written or I've typed if statement. So this if statement beginning with a hash sign means it is a comment. So when these codes are being read, they didn't read the if statement because it sees it as a comment, right? So in Python, when you want to write something within your code without allowing the interpreter to read the line of code, you should begin it with a hash sign. For example, let's say I don't want the print hello to be read, so I'll just begin it with a hash sign. So I'll just build my program. So you could see that hello world didn't print because it sees this as a comment. So when I clear off the hash sign and I build it again, you could see that the hello world has come. The hello world has come. Okay, so another thing is that programmers use commenting to give to describe a line of code. For example, so I can use a comment here to say a condition to check whether 4 is equal to 4. So I can use this to describe this line of code, right? So this is a comment. So I'm using that to describe this very line of code, right? Okay, and I can also comment all these out. I can also comment all these out in order to prevent the code from being read. Okay, so I've commented them all out. So if I build this up or if I build this code, the if statement will not be read. But when I clear them off, you can see that the if statement, the if else statement will be read. Okay, so don't be bothered with the codes. I'll take you through how you can write all these codes through a step-by-step process. Don't be scared with these lines of code. They are just there to teach you or to let you know how commenting and then indentation is. Thanks for watching this video and see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.